Hey family, glad you can join me for this live stream, the Walk-in Wisdom channel. The world is a stage, and we're going to talk about some things that are going to be very unpopular, especially amongst the truth community, the things that I've been seeing, all of the things that have been shared recently. But you know how we do it here, family. We're going to chill out to a little bit of music and hang out and just let it breathe. Allow a few people to jump into the live. I always love to let it breathe, let the energy settle. I know I've had an influx of energies coming through that have been very intense lately, family. And so I know y'all are riding that wave with me, and I just welcome y'all to enjoy in the vibe. Just join in the vibe and enjoy the vibe. While we allow some other people to jump into the live stream, we will get started here in about 15 minutes. Let's throw on some Nako and some other music and just again vibe out while we get ready for the show.
Welcome to week 1.
Dear brother, when you gonna call back your mother? Think she's sleeping in the gutter. We both know you can do better. And when you gonna write your older brother a letter? Hey man, I miss you, getting my shit together. And for the record, I wrote this note as a reminder. Hermano mío, there's a future you can believe in. Gonna take more than songs of justice and freedom. Yeah. Oh yeah, there's a future you can believe in. Gonna take more than songs of justice and freedom. Freedom, yeah, if you're thinking about leaving, hold my hand, overstand this too can be your kingdom, blessed. And when the rain comes, put your hands in the dirt, Baba, this is where you came from. This is where you came from. This is where you came from. This is where you came from.
All right, family. Hope y'all are ready.
Systems broken, no fucks given. Wealthy people living on the backs of the broken dreams of America.
Dreams of America.
Need a pop carrier. Let me smudge you off so the vision can get clearer.
That looked like a
Your
good
mother's
one.
crying, boy, can you hear her? What I see.
I think we'll start with that one.
I am tree bearing fruit. Place to start.
Breathe, family.
Don't hide behind your heart. You gotta put down the weight. You gotta get out of your way.
How often are we in our own way,
You gotta
family?
put down the weight. You gotta
Get out of your way. Have you been standing in your own way lately? Gotta move, family. I haven't been moving enough. My energy's been getting stagnant. Gotta dance more. Gotta sing
Dear
more.
lover, you can find me on the front lines, covered in the blood and tears of another brother, sister, mother. Revolution be your broadcast on Facebook and Twitter. There's a noise. I can hear it when the megaphone roars. Wipe the tears from this tear gas choice. You have a choice. Stand in front of your fear, baby. Time to find your voice. It's a story, a love story. You can believe.
Be sure and hit the thumbs up, family.
Birth, your life's work is trending. It's a story, a love story.
Yes. I love Nako and medicine for people.
I got my hands up. Follow
Been feeling
directions
it.
till they shoot us. I'm fucking sick and tired of no justice, no peace. Promise me you'll never pick your body off the streets. We're all taking heat here.
Again, we're just letting it breathe, family. Vibing out.
Disenfranchised, step into a new life. Baby, if you listen to the wind of the roar, cry peace in America.
Peace in America.
Be decent, America. I'm begging you. What I see in you.
I see an influx of people, and then we drop down to 2, but that's cool. Filter them out, weed them out.
You gotta put down the weight. You gotta get out of your way. You gotta put down the weight. You gotta get out of your way.
What y'all think about what you've been seeing lately? A lot of crazy shit going on out there with this coronavirus. We're going to talk about paid shills, deep state fakes, holographic images being passed off as real people. The world is a stage, family, and we're all being played. We all got a part to play too. Are you allowing somebody to write your script?
Put down weight. You gotta get out of your way. You gotta put down weight. You
gotta get out of your way. And so that was Nako Bear, Medicine for the People. And we're going to listen to one more song, family. We'll get started here in about 7 minutes, 5 to 7 minutes. We're going to listen to Great Spirit from Nako and just, again, continue to vibe out. Let the room breathe. Let people get going in the chat. Introduce yourselves to each other. We got a great community in the chat, in both chats, usually in Facebook and in YouTube. I've got both pulled up, so I will be trying to monitor the chats. This is going to be more of just I've got a few things pulled up to share with you, family. But hi, Jeannie. Good to see you. Jim, KJ, love you guys. Let's see who else is jumping in here. I see Steve is watching. We got a few other people in the chat already, and so we got 7 people. Again, let's vibe out to Nako and Great Spirit. And I'm going to finish rolling my doobie, and then we're going to get started talking about these deep state fakes, these paid shills, and the way that all of this, everything, this whole theatrical shit show is being staged. And it's not just for our entertainment, family. It's to try and draw you away from the truth. And so we're going to get to that here in just about 6 minutes. So while you're waiting, family, share the video, whether you're on Facebook, YouTube, share it on all your platforms. And get ready for a live show, family, because I'm sure y'all are going to want to know some of the things that the Creator's been showing me. The Spirit in me. Great Spirit, I have had it. Bring me back to the nomadic way of weaving through the damage. Mindful, stay mindful. Great Spirit, for my sisters, let me be a flowing river. Flood the rings, the rocks, the binder. Carry, I'll carry. Great Spirit. Oh, great Spirit.
Great Spirit for my brothers, let me be the mountain under which he climbs to discover his process. Now that's progress. Great Spirit, all that hinders, tie reminders to my fingers. I must speak with you more often. Great Spirit. Oh, great Spirit. Great Spirit for my relations, give them strength to face racism in every single situation. Easy now, go on, speak loud. Great Spirit, take me instead. Guide me down the road of red Tempashala. I am saying, great Spirit.
I'll be right back, family.
Tinkashala.
It's time we stand up, family. Take back that sovereignty. Take back that power and that authority that we were given. This inheritance.
Great Spirit system collapse.
Nothing but the earth will last, and I'll be singing sweetly into the darkness. Now hark this, Great Spirit on my tongue, be still, be still. The time will come when everyone will sing. All life is sacred while I'm waiting. Great Spirit, my fist is up, bringing the power to the people, your reflection of us. Some of you people can't hear it, the cries of the earth. Some of you people can't feel it, the way that it hurts, and it hurts, Great Spirit. And it moves, Great Spirit.
Interconnected in the wreckage of a paradigm on its way out.
It's way out.
Speaking of spiritual, lyrical testimonies. Spirit of differences, weaving around false prophecies. Spirit directed and selective with the message I bring. While the ship slowly sinks, I've been directed to sing. I'm like a wrecking ball, breaking down the walls of the past. A minimalist, living on this with the last of my cash. You're gonna be justified with how you treated the land. You're gonna be by my side when I stand in the mountain change. Tinkashala. 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 Great Spirit. Great Spirit. Great Spirit. Tinkashala. Great Spirit, Tinkashala.
All right. So how y'all been, family? Let me go ahead and drop these banners off. Go ahead and drop that one. Drop that one. I'm Joseph, your host or whatever you want to call it, man. I'm just some dude here behind a camera of a laptop. I don't have a fancy setup. I don't have all the professional equipment. But one thing I do have is a desire for truth and a love for humanity. And so I wanted to just share some things with y'all, family. Um, there's been a lot of lies being propagated, a lot of disinformation. There's been a lot of truth being disclosed in so many areas now during this pandemic. We've seen a lot of things being disclosed regarding not just healthcare issues, various declassified operations like Operation Paperclip, that being a lot of the Third Reich scientists, Nazi scientists, and higher ups that were brought over and given jobs with the CIA. And a lot of those things are being disclosed now. But during this time of lockdown, we've seen an infringement on civil liberties. And I'm not just talking constitutional rights. I'm talking about the law of universal law, the law of the Most High, the law of the cosmos. All of these things that are being infringed on. Hey, Laura P, glad you can join. All life is sacred. And I'm going to throw that up because I just, I love that about that song. All life is sacred. And we have to realize that, you know, the agenda that's been going on is one of division. Many of y'all know I was a pastor for years, and I do refer to some scripture. I do refer to the scripture still because I believe that it's information. It's coded information. It's been given to us that they're signposts, family, that we've left for ourselves, that we would know the truth, right? That eternal spirit. It says that we were known by God before we were formed in our mother's womb. And so we were with God from the beginning. And who was with God from the beginning but the Son, right? It says in the beginning was God, and the Word was God, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. And so that Word we know as Christ. And that Christos, that anointing of Christ, of the Son of God, is upon all of us. And that's what they don't want you to know. And if you're divided, what does it say in James about a man being divided? That if a man was divided, that if he was tossed to and fro by the circumstances of this life, that he was a double-minded man and that he deserved nothing, right? And so we see that happening right now. We see a division of the mind. We see the left brain, right brain being played on, that blue shift, red shift, the going from the analytical to the creative, and really it's manipulating and suppressing the creative via the analytical, via the left brain, keeping you in that left brain, keeping you in that motor division. And you know, family, we got to find a place where that division just we stop being divided inside. We got to stop being double-minded, and we got to stop picking and choosing sides. And it's very easy to happen because, you know, these are things that I was talking about 6 months ago, how we create this reality that's being projected, this collectively, we create this reality. And even going into details regarding the way that these modern day sorcerers, and really it's an ancient sorcery, it's an ancient dark magic that's being used to keep the people in a state of hypnosis. And so I've gone into detail about these things. Several months back, I was really talking about the esoteric gnosis and knowledge, wisdom regarding the way that these things work, the way that this reality works, the way that this control matrix that we're all under works. It's an old Talmudic Babylonian type of sorcery that they've got going on, and it's through money. The love of money is the root of all sorts of evils, and so we have to realize that we're being played, family. We're being played, and they're playing a mind game on us. Scripture says that if a man thinks he knows anything, he knows nothing at all. And I actually shared on my YouTube channel this officer, Greg Anderson, right? And I got fired up, man. I've seen the way that our rights have been infringed on. I've been very good about being very balanced about it, about being very even. As much as it drives me ridiculously mad to see just the depth of cognitive dissonance that people are under, not realizing that all of these things on mainstream media, we know that mainstream media is a lie. We know that it's fake news, right? And so we see all of these things being propagated on mainstream media, and we take them, and there's a way that you can decipher a lot of these articles, a lot of these uh, uh, news features, regardless of what station they're coming through. They're all coded numerologically. They're all coded, even in the language, it's all coded. And again, these are things that I've talked about before, family. And so when we start realizing and start looking at these things, we can start to decipher what it is that's being communicated amongst these master masons, these master builders, Masonic builders. They speak in code. And a lot of times, the way that these mind manipulation techniques are laid out is it's all trauma based, right? And so we've seen over the years, I mean, especially since 9/11, 9/11 has to be the biggest psyop, emotional trauma based psyop, to draw loosh from the collective. Loosh is an energetic, a lower frequency, a lower vibrational frequency, energetic resonance, that feeds these lower electromagnetic entities that many would call demons. But again, that is a slur in the spiritual realm, because we are all one, we are all connected, and even these lower vibrational frequency entities are manifesting in the way that they are. We experience the emotions that we do because we're all connected in this way. And as above, so below, as within, so without. And so you see the collective being played on day in and day out with all of these news stories, the lockdown and the division about the lockdown. You've got the mask wearers, you've got the people that refuse to wear a mask. I'm one of those ones that refuses to wear a mask, and it's not because I'm trying to be an asshole to anybody, but because I know the dangers that lie in wearing a mask. Hey, Noni, Keisha, I love you guys. Hopefully you guys are still watching. I see several names in the chat on Facebook, but only one eyeball, so I'm not sure who's watching, but I love you guys a lot. And so the mask wearers, the non-mask wearers, it really saddens me, because you see the play on people's mind that's going on. And I even see the division that I've been talking a lot about Nazi Germany, and how they really had every base for their abuses covered in one saying: it's for your safety. It's for your own safety. It's for your own good. It's for your own safety. Even from the time, even when they were loading them on the cars, the train cars, to go to the camps, it's for your own safety. It's for your own good. I could only imagine what kind of lies were being told to them to get them into the gas chambers, the showers, that they dropped all kinds of chemicals, filled them with chemicals. Hey, good to see you guys. Speedway Science Tucson. Totally blessed that you're here, and just honored that all of you guys are in the chat, and you guys are just giving me an opportunity to share what the Father shared with me, what the Creator, what the Most High shared with me. And oh, it doesn't matter, Jeannie. I think a lot of people enjoy the YouTube. I see people jump from the Facebook feed over to the YouTube because of the chat. The community here that we have going on YouTube, especially in the chat room, the love is always felt, and it's always just a good vibe, good energy. And even when there's disagreements, there's always just a good a very, very good conversation, very good dialogue, very deep dialogue. I mean, I see people talking about quantum physics and so many different spiritual views on the YouTube channel. Hey, Regina, good to see you jump in on Facebook. And so I'm streaming live on Facebook and YouTube. Find where you're comfortable. If you just want to lay back and watch, there's usually not too much going on in the chat unless specific people jump in on Facebook, but there's always a lively conversation. Sometimes when I start going and we start getting pretty deep, the conversation will die down because people really are into listening to what's going on, and because it resonates. And so if it resonates with you, family, even if some of these things sound out there, please consider them, because right now, if there's any point in time that you would realize right now, anything is possible. And everything that we've been taught and told is a lie. And so in that, I mean, shit, man, there's so many places that could go just from that statement. But I really want to stick to the deep state fakes and the paid shills, because we've all been being played, family. We've been being played. I started realizing it with Dr. Shiva and Dr. Buttar. And, these guys have a lot of great things to say, things that I agree with. And again, I believe that they're disclosing a ton of truth and exposing the depths of the lies that lie in big pharma and pharmakia, the sorcery that's being done there, the medicines, the vaccinations, all of those things. And I know those are key words that might get me blocked or whatever. Anymore, I really don't care. I mean, this whole censorship game is part of the paid shillery and freaking mind game. It's all like a chess game, family. And here's the thing: as we sit back and we watch, Laura, I'm ecstatic over this time. I get caught up. This is where we have to be careful, is with that stagnant energy. If we get caught up looking at the news and looking at all of the things and trying to figure out what's going on, the energy influxes that are coming in that are meant to literally activate our DNA, change the genetic structure of our bodies. And again, I've got some deep videos. If you haven't checked out the content, if you're watching live and you haven't seen any of my previous content, go look at some of my content before I started showing so much about the whole virus and the why masks aren't good, all of those things. Those are great videos. You guys should watch some of them. But again, the cop video that I mirrored, and even I'm finding some things about Judy Mikovits, Dr. Judy Mikovits, the pandemic doctor that was coming out speaking again. I think disclosing a ton of truth regarding Dr. Fauci and his ties with the World Health Organization, Bill Gates, and their agenda behind this injectable fluid that they're pushing. But I've also seen, hey, Lacey Lace, Karen Lynn, I'm just saying, we got to consider all things. I should have posted this video. I wasn't even going to bring up Judy, but there's some theories out there that she is one of these deep state actresses, and there's pictures going around from, I'm not sure if it was Sandy Hook or the Las Vegas shooting, but there's some pictures of I believe it was actually, I know it was one of them was the Florida, I believe the shooting in Florida, at the high school in Florida. And man, it's really disturbing when you find things like that, especially when you've been promoting and just um, really taking a stance that yes, this is where this I'm going with what this person says. I agree with it, and again, there's a lot of truth in there. But here's the thing: if you're getting all of this truth, and there's this, I know that Ike is being censored. Mikovitz is being censored. Other people are being censored. Shiva is being censored. Some of these guys are being censored. But here's the thing: the videos are all over the freaking internet. You see it. Watch this before it gets taken down. Watch this before it gets taken down. But the videos are there. The videos are everywhere. Everywhere. Pandemic. I can go on right now and I can type in pandemic on any platform, and I'm sure I can find a playable video of pandemic part 1, and I think part 2 is leaked as well. I'm not sure, but all of these things that are being censored, things that I put up that were being censored at one time are being allowed to continue to stay up now. It's not about keywords, it's not about key phrases, it's about what they want you to see when they want you to see it. Because here's the thing: when I start posting all of these videos that are being censored everywhere, here and there, yeah, I agree, Regina. That's the thing that really felt off about Greg Anderson. I posted his second video where he speaks about being let go of. He got fired for speaking out against tyranny, right? And I'm like, man, I mirrored it. I put it up. And immediately after I posted it, and I was actually typing the description for the video when I posted his second video about being fired, something just didn't sit right with me. It just really drove me nuts, and I couldn't figure it out. And so I went to his Instagram page, and family, you're not gonna believe this shit just jumped out at me like it was screaming at me. Because if y'all know, I've done a lot of research on Freemasonry, Masonic doctrine and dogmas, um, a lot of the Illuminati bloodline, and the way that goes back into the ancient times where, the mighty men of renown, the Nephilim, were roaming the earth. And the Nephilim, again, those were the celestial beings that came down and mated with the terrestrial beings, right? The fallen angels, so to speak, in the biblical stories. And so a lot of these factions of these entities that we would call angels or demons are still around today, and they're very active. In fact, many of them that had gone away, so to speak, are back now. And again, a lot of these are energies, astrological theories point to a lot of just the inner workings of the way that these energies, the celestial energies, affect us. And really, family, one thing that the Most High was showing me is that we actually affect these celestial energies. It's actually the other way around. And that's why they're playing this mind game and manipulating your sovereignty and your power and your creative ability. And this is the apocalypse. This is the revelation that you are God, that you are a son of God, that you are not the only God, that you are not the Most High, but you are a fragment of God, and you have His Spirit in you. And I say His, but that's mental programming from, again, religious dogmas and doctrines. And so there's no, if there's a father, there's a mother. And so they're equal and opposite forces at work here. And so there is a source of all things. But then we do have different archetypes. And these archetypes, again, we'll have to do a really in-depth video on egregores and thought forms and God forms and servitors, etc. And again, those are just some great things, great gems I'm dropping out there for you to research on your own. But when we get into those things, you start to see that a lot of these energies dwell within us already. A lot of these energies are really manifest from within, because these are the energy centers, the chakras, and again, it goes into metaphysics. And so I want to just come back to what we were talking about, the deep state stuff. Yes, fractals of the source. We are but fractals of the source. But we are still the source nonetheless. And we have that inheritance, we have that abundance and of authority over all of these things to overstand them and oversee them, right? Once we understand them, then we get to oversee them. And so that's where I'm coming back to, because I got drawn in through this influx of energy, the planetary shifts and all of the things that are going on in the media. I allowed it to draw my eyes to the whole shit show. And I started sharing in this energy. And when we start sharing in this energy, then we start promoting that energy, and we start propagating that energy, and we start feeding that energy, and we start drawing off of that same energy. And so we can hit emotional setbacks, family. And I'll be honest, I'm always honest with y'all. I'm fucking, I ain't here to play games. I'm not here to sugarcoat shit for anybody. I have those emotional setbacks too. And with these influxes of energies, and then all of the shit that's going on in the news and the media, going to the store, man, my daughter got harassed. I got harassed at Walmart because we weren't wearing masks. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it's not even an order here under Tri-County in the area I'm at. We're not in Denver County, so it's not an order like it is in Denver County. Hancock made that for Denver. And so you see all of these things. You see the freaking protests going on, and they're worldwide protests. And here's the thing: there is a worldwide awakening, but the masses are being pushed not just to a protest, but to retaliate, to revolt, not retaliate, but to revolt, and revolt in a violent manner. And so this is one of the things that's being played out in all of the police videos that we're seeing. And make no mistake about it, the police, law enforcement is a brotherhood. I have a ton of family in law enforcement. I was when I was trying to get out of gangs and I moved down to the San Luis Valley, I was part of a program called the Junior Explorer program, where I had come in and started seeing for a couple of weeks how the county jail worked, and how the dispatch office worked. And my uncles were deputies. My uncle was the undersheriff. And so I got an opportunity to come in, and I saw both sides of the coin, man. I was a gang banging, drug dealing thug that hurt a lot of people. I tried to get out of that shit at a young age, a very young age. Went down to the valley, got a chance to be a part of that Junior Explorer program. And then when I came back up for winter break, I found out my by blood, he's my primo, he's my cousin, Mario, but he was raised like a brother, and he got shot in the head. And so I wilded out, man. I flipped out. I got back into the gang life, and so I don't even know how I got so far off track, but let me just slow down and breathe. I got to see both sides of the coin, and law enforcement is a brotherhood. Law enforcement is a brotherhood, much like Grand Masonic lodges are a brotherhood, much like Skull and Bones and Q and other. And yes, there is a secret society called Q. It's a very little known. There's one very little known called the Oculists, and it's about playing with the sight, because of the way that the nerve crosses the ocular nerve. The ocular nerve crosses like an X, and it's very cool. It almost looks like an infinity sign, but it crosses right there at the pineal through the sphenoid. And so, again, the third and left ventricle are the gateways, the narrow gateways. to access those heavenly fields. And so, anyway, the brotherhoods. A lot of these secret societies know how the way they know the way that the metaphysical aspect ties in with the physiological aspect of man, and they know how to manipulate the minds of man. And so we've seen a lot of disclosure coming out over the past couple of decades regarding MK Ultra mind control and the way that it's all a trauma-based mind control system. We've heard even in the disclosure in the psyops, and I believe that you guys know that I believe Q is a psyop, um, and I do believe that there's probably a lot of good being done, that there is probably a lot of truth behind what the white hats are doing and whatnot. But I said this was going to be an unpopular show, and I know a lot of people are going to be dropping off when I start talking about Q. Um, you know, but maybe I'll play a video. In fact, I'll just post a video after as soon as I get done with this live. I've got a video that really shows the way that Trump was actually bred and raised for this very moment and for this very role. Fordham University is actually a Jesuit school. And so if you know anything about the Jesuits, the way that they are the puppet masters behind the Vatican, there's the black pope and the white pope. Again, I've done a lot of uh, work, research, and videos on these things. And so these secret societies know how to manipulate the minds of man, and they speak in code. And if you guys know anything about even the slightest bit about masonry and about gematria, about the way that these codes work, numerology. Three is a huge number in numerology. 33, 33 is like the Masonic number. And I'll do that's a whole separate show as to why the 33. It's the three right in the back of the other three, and it's just and again we see that encoded in so many things with CC in the news, Corona crisis, and just so many things. Family, I got a homie named Michael O that always breaks his shit down. Steve Moon breaks the gematria shit down. So many informative places that you can find these things. But the number three, man, it's huge. And so I wanted to really here, I'm going to go to screen share and I'm going to take y'all to what I seen. And again, I'm not going to play Greg Anderson's videos. Um, but they were, if you guys haven't seen them, I mean, I don't know how you haven't seen them. They've gone viral like a mother. And so maybe we will listen to a little bit of each one. But let me get on this screen share here. Let me see, maybe this is right here. All right. And so let's go. Let me see. Let me just go to YouTube. Oh, I don't know why I'm not signed in. I am signed in. Let me come over here to my channel. And so I'm going to again tell y'all, if y'all haven't subscribed, come over to my channel, subscribe, like the videos. But I want to come down. I'll show you. I still got them up. I still got them posted because I was like really feeling what this dude had to say, right? Thought he was really speaking out against tyranny, and he goes on. We're not going to listen to his whole message, but he's just giving a heartfelt talk to his call, seemingly, but really speaking in code. And While we're waiting for that to load up, there it is.
Something right here off of the Declaration of Independence. All men are created equal. Among these, we have the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. That to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their power from the consent of the governed, meaning our power
And so he
and
goes
any
into
government
this long
official's power
speech.
is derived from the people. Okay, we don't hold power over our citizens.
He goes into this long speech, right? Like if he's for the people, like he's speaking out for the people. He's warning his fellow officers not to do this, that you don't know what it's like when you're going against scrappy people. He's a military, he's a special ops military man. Look at his name, G. Anderson. And so first thing that struck me was son, Mason, Master Mason. And so let's come over here and look at his. So he goes on. A couple days later, he starts talking about how he was fired for speaking out about tyranny. All of it seems very sincere, right? I post it. I get a lot of great feedback, man. Everybody's like, "What a great,
it took a day or two before it really started getting a lot of traction.
A true man of
but
God."
the next morning, I woke up on the 6th. I think it was only at a few thousand views.
And I'm feeling it,
and
right?
I had received
I'm feeling
a message
I'm
from
like,
my
this dude
command
is like
saying, "Wow, Greg, what a powerful message. We agree with that 100%. Well
for
done."
the team, man.
And
He's really standing
that was
up
actually a
for the
relief for me
people.
because I was like, great, I
This
know
is
that it's
a
risky
gentleman
putting
that
something out like that, but I felt like
is-
it was so grounded
But
in
I should
integrity.
know already. Do you really speak out against your brotherhood, man? You don't. You don't. You'll get done up. All right, family. I don't know what happened. We cut out. Let me get my screen share back up. I don't know what happened. I don't know where we cut out either. So let's try this. Let's see if this works. Where were we at? All right, let's see if any of this lines up. Let me make sure we're good over here. Wow. So I guess, so I was talking for a minute before we got it back up, huh? All right, so the gentleman that commented on my video, I don't know where we cut off. The gentleman that commented on my video, I couldn't find a name to give him any attribution. That's where we cut off? Oh man, so we cut off when the video was still going. All right. Well, so did y'all catch any of the stuff with his Instagram? Or was I talking through that whole presentation about his Instagram to a dead screen? Just let me know, family. I'm sitting waiting for a comment. Did you see about his Instagram? Oh, all right. So I was talking about his video. I was feeling a lot of what this dude was saying, right? I mean, I felt like, am I coming through now? Or is it a dead screen again? Trying to watch the chat, family, to see. I'm monitoring it, but on mine it's it looks like it's frozen up. All right, and so what I was saying, I was playing his video. Okay, so yeah, the video of him being fired, I was really feeling it. I was like, man, this dude really was willing to go out there, put his neck on the chopping block to speak up for what was right. And then as soon as I posted that video, I was typing the description in, and something didn't sit right with me, and so I jumped over to his Instagram, and so I'll pull up his Instagram right now. And all kinds of red flags jumped out at me, man. If y'all know anything about occult numerology, and the number 3, 33 with Master Masons, Grand Master Masons, Masonic, all of the Masonic meaning, Freemasonry, with 33, Grand Masonic lodges. It's just ridiculous. All of the Freemasonry started jumping out. The blue shield from Masonry with the yellow here, but that's just subtle. But these aren't subtle. Grand Masonic lodges, 33. He's a Mason. Son is always in there. 33. His lady, he's a husband to who? 333, father to 3 little girls, and then basic gematria. I don't know the reverse ordinals and all of these things, but I do know the basic gematria. You add the numbers until you reduce them down, and so 7 plus 5 is 12. You reduce that down again. 1 plus 2 is what? 3. And so number 3 in his 75th vet. And then again, the ritualistic sodomy that goes on in Freemasonry, it's Kundalini sex magic, and they make slaves by hitting the oh man, what is it called? Oh man, I can't. I'm having a brain fart right now. The bone right there, the tailbone. I can't think of what it's called, but in metaphysical terms. But it's where there's a ton of nerves there. The vagus nerve runs through your spine down through that part of your spine. The coccyx. And so what they do is there's a ton of nerves that run through the coccyx. And when they strike the coccyx just right, it damages those nerves and it sends a neurological shock wave up the vagus nerve, and it causes a mass trauma. Basically, it shorts out the vagus nerve, and they're able to make slaves that way. And they actually link up and steal that Kundalini energy, that authority, that power to connect with the spiritual realm via that type of sex magic. And so again, that's for another show. That's really deep. It's but that right there jumped out to me. Ass is 2G, and it's just ass is too good. Is that what that might mean? Is he Masonic ritualistic sodomy partaker? I don't know, family. I don't know. These are things that just jumped out at me, and I don't know the man, but these are things that I know. I've been seeing these signs all over the 33 and all of the Corona crisis. Even Corona crisis, C is the third letter of the alphabet. 33. Come on, family. These things jump out at you after you know what to look for. And so this is just one of these things. And so I did have a gentleman comment on my video the day after I posted it regarding the possibility of this cop being a fraud, and he put a link to this channel, Jurassic Liars 26, and I haven't watched it yet, family. I've really just been waiting until this video, until this live stream to watch it with you guys, because I wanted to see how his discernments, if any of them line up with anything that jumped out at me. And again, I'm not going to go through both of his videos because they're each about 10 minutes long. That's another 20 minutes onto this show that I don't think is necessary, but there's a lot of encoded talk, a lot of ciphered talk in that, in both of those videos, the one where he gets fired and where he speaks out. And so let's see what this gentleman has to say. I don't know anything about this dude's channel. I haven't had a chance to browse it, check it out, or anything. So I'm not endorsing him, but I'm also not, I'm very curious, family, to see what he says, and if any of it lines up with some of the things that were jumping out at me regarding this officer in his videos. Did we not reconnect on both? Let me see if we reconnected on both. Says we're good on both. I'm not seeing the feed on Facebook, but let's jump back over here and see what this is, and then I'll try and figure it out while we're playing this video.
So if you guys have been watching what's going around the truth community, you'll notice that there's doctors that are supposedly speaking out against the supposed virus.
Kunda Buffer.
And
yes,
they always have the codes in their name. They'll either have the sun or the man.
I just want to pause that real quick because Dylan mentions this, that that reverse Kundalini, it's actually called the Kunda Buffer. And so you've got the Kundalini energy, which is the energy that rises, the serpent energy of wisdom of Gnosis. And it's a dualistic energy, and so you have to be prepared to deal with buried emotions and suppressed memories, things like that, and so traumatic things that you might not actually remember. And so anyway, Kunda Buffer, Dylan mentions that on Facebook, and so we'll do. I actually have a show on the sphenoid bone and the Ark of the Covenant, and as well as the Kundalini and Kunda Buffer And so that's another thing, family. I know I've been posting a lot regarding this crisis and regarding what's going on in the on the big stage, the mainstream media, what the all of the politics regarding this. But I think that was for a time, and we're moving forward into the more esoteric and spiritual aspects of what's going on, and how we best prepare and move into this influx of energy that's coming in. It's a very sensitive dance of plasmic energy and fields, different energetic waves, fields, plasmic fields of energetic waves that are coming through that we would refer to again in the Christian community as spirit. And so it's the spirit of truth who comes from the Father to declare all things to all men. And so that's what we're experiencing, and we're having that truth twisted through this dark magic that's happening. And again, I've done a lot of videos on the way that the television and these technologies, the screens, the phones, all of the handheld devices, the crystal technology in there, and the frequencies that they emit actually play into those energies and inverting those energies to cause what should be activation, gnosis codes, right? Like wisdom interacting with your spirit, with your soul, bringing light into the darkest place of your heart, bringing light and wisdom into that place. And through this dark magic, what's we're discussing right now, this is the dark magic, the things that are being put out in the news and in the media and social media, even in the truth community. Man, we think that we're doing this great deal of good by sharing these videos, when really we're propagating this magic, man. We're being the pawns in this chess game, putting out these videos and sharing in all of the governor is doing this and governor is doing that, and this law and that law. Well, you know, the laws of the Most High, the cosmic laws of love supersede any written law down here, because we are the word and we trump all of those things. And so the trumpet is sounding, and it's time for us to stand up and take the stage that's been set for us, and walk in truth and walk in wisdom, and not be fooled by all of this dark magic, this ancient dark sorcery that's being perpetrated right now through these technologies, again, that are given by the God of this realm, of this time right now. And so let's see. Glad y'all are still with me, family. I knew that this was not going to be a popular show. I was really feeling this dude, and let's see what dude has to say.
And or some kind of sexual innuendo, like one of the doctors is cough man. Been watching what's going around the truth community, you'll notice that there's doctors that are supposedly speaking out against the supposed virus, and they always have the codes in their name. They'll either have the son or the man or some kind of sexual innuendo. Like one of the doctors is cough man, and another one was Eric's son, and there was another one with the same initials, and I told you that's a code. And then the other one had the sexual innuendo. His name was Dr. Butter. He had the butt in his name. Butar, and then this fraud
coded in there,
right here, who says he's a police officer. Okay, whether he's a police officer or not doesn't matter. It's the fact that he's been put up to doing this. Okay, and I'm gonna show you the codes in his name.
Maybe
and how he
paid.
says the code words. Okay, for the people who don't know, the code numbers are the 3 or the 33 as far as numbers. So now this cop has put out a second video telling everyone what happened about him putting up his first video, telling people that cops should behave themselves and, do the right thing, right? And I told everybody there's no way this cop would do that, because I told you they have a code of silence, these cops. All right.
The brotherhood.
And whatever cop you see
a brotherhood
speaking out or going
silence.
against the system, you know that he's being put up to it. Anyway, so he puts out another video saying he was reprimanded. Let's listen to some of the stuff he says. And by the way, I have edited it because it's just 8 minutes of boring stuff.
That's why I didn't want to go through 9 minutes of the first one and 8 minutes of this one.
People all over the country have been calling me, texting me, sending me emails, comments, and so that's pretty cool. One thing that I've seen come up over and over in the comments and emails sent to me is, are you going to get in trouble? What happened to you? Or is there any discipline any discipline taking place? And so I figured I'd take a chance and give you a little synopsis of the last 3 days of my life.
Okay, so that was the first code. Did you hear him say the last 3 days of my life? I'm going to play it again because the 3 is the code. I told you 3 or 33.
And so I figured I'd take a chance and give you a little synopsis of the last 3 days of my life.
3 days of my life.
The next morning when I woke up on the 6th, it was only,
on the 6th,
I think it was only
6 is another
and I had received a message from my
significant
command
number.
saying, wow, Greg, what a powerful message. We agree with that 100%. Well done. And that was actually a relief for me, because I was like, great. I know that it's risky putting something out like that, but I felt like it was so grounded in integrity and liberty that no one would have an issue with it. So that was a relief. And then fast forward 3 hours later, I get another phone call.
So did you hear that? 3 hours later, he says the 3 again. And by the way, he said the words command, and command has the man in it.
The man.
I told you the man and the son is the word codes.
I'm going to check out some more of his
3 hours
stuff.
later, I get another phone call from my command, and it said, hey,
I wish I knew who commented.
The video's up to 400,000 views.
This video.
Plug on this thing. And he said, listen, it's not up to me. I have been directed to tell you to take the video down, and I need to know if you're going to take the video down. And I said, no, I can't take the video down. And that kind of seemed like a moot point to me, and it was strange, because why was the message okay at 5 a.m., and then 3 hours later, there was a problem with it?
There's the 3 again.
I believe that the Constitution supersedes all other documents, all other laws. There's case law supporting that. If you look at Marbury versus Madison, 1803, and it.
So did you hear him cite a case law? He said Madison. It's got the sun in the
18.
name.
You add
There's
the 1 and the 8. That's
story.
a 9.
And then he said 1803. He said the 3 again.
9 is a significant number as well.
Marbury versus Madison, 1803, and it will result in me ultimately being let go from the agency. And I said, you know what? If that's what you guys have to do, if that video is so bad that you want to take my career from me,
he does sound like he's following a script, Laura.
Leave my, potentially take my ability away to provide for my family because of that video, do it. And I'm a police officer in Seattle, Washington.
By the way, he had 3 kids also, but I know I heard it. I just can't remember where I heard it. Anyway, so I don't have that on recording, but he also had 3 kids. Anyway.
I showed that.
Did you hear that he's from Seattle, Washington? Okay. Can you believe this? And Seattle's in the news again because all my videos are about Seattle, Washington. Now let's see this guy's name. So remember, I told you that the man and son are the word codes. Let's see this fraud cop's name. His name is Greg, all right? His name is Greg Anderson. Again with the son, man. I told you it never fails, man. You understand? These codes never fail. These codes that I discovered. Now let's look. There's a final thing I'm going to show you. Let's look at this dude's Instagram account name. Look at this. Look at this. His name is Granderson again with the son.
And again, look
obviously,
into
'cause that's his
gematria. Look
name.
into the
But
coding
he's got
behind
the
the
33 number in
Freemasonry,
his Instagram. I mean, can you believe
Masonic
this?
symbolism,
His
and you'll
Instagram has
understand.
the
Grand
33,
Masonic
man.
lodges.
This is unbelievable.
Grand Master Masons.
And for the people
Grand
who know my
Masons.
videos, and I told you guys that Trump would be assassinated on August 4th, Obama's birthday, and then resurrect 4 days later on 8/8. Look at this. Look at that date. Look at it. Look at the time on the video, will you? 8/4 and then the 8. Those are the.
No. Ha. All right, family. I want you to just understand how crazy this is that he says that about Trump. Now, I didn't predict that Trump would be killed and resurrected, but in a recent video I did, it's a very long video. I'll put the link up. I talk about the play that's going on with the Luciferians and the Satanist Kabbalistic. It's two different factions that are fighting for power right now. And Saint Germain was supposedly the incarnation of Lucifer, and he set up a trust and supposed to bring the light. And if you understand about esoteric teachings, Lucifer is actually Venus, and they inverted that energy and created the Baphomet. And so there's a lot in there that again, that I don't want this one to be a 4-hour video. But I just wanted to say, like, there's a lot to know regarding the symbolism that they put in everything. And so that he's talking about that in that video, that 4-hour video. Another brother, Taryn, he put in a post that the Simpsons, I believe, predicted Trump's death, and the assassination of Trump, actually, in one of the episodes where he was the president. And so I had played out that this might be the case for them to finally push the whole, oh my gosh, here we go. The resurrection. All right. So he gets assassinated. Somebody like Bill Gates, Elon Musk, one of these computer geniuses comes up with a vaccine. But we all know that nanotechnology is a real thing. And we're going to look a little bit at that. Well, actually, just look at it. The last video I posted has some information regarding nanotechnology and how they want to put that in the vaccines, and it's actually being disclosed. It's being talked about. It's not anything that's hidden. This isn't hidden by symbology. It's flat out known. It's just general knowledge, that's public knowledge, that nanotechnology is a thing that they want to put in vaccines in order to track whether you're sick or not before you're sick. And so it sounds like crazy stuff. I've been saying for the past couple of years. I think I came public a year and a half ago. I don't know, maybe last year, January, maybe. I started making videos talking about all the things that I had known, that I had been shown, a lot of the things that I had just been researching and had connected dots. And I really didn't want to sound crazy talking about these things. I had dropped bombs about, chemtrails, shit like that for a long time. The way that certain technologies like 5G technology, certain even 4G was harmful, just not on the level that the 60 millimeter, the 60 hertz, I believe, millimeter waves, that 5G is one of the harmful 5Gs, because we've been told that there's good and harmful. And again, you have to use discernment and all of that. I think that vibrational frequency can be used in a good way, but where is that coming from? And so, anyway, the way that all of these things are manipulated, somebody could come on the scene with one of these technologies and resurrect Trump, and I really showed how that could be Revelation 13, the false prophet making the beast to be worshipped. And so, again, a lot of things that are coded and really being scripted right now from biblical prophecy. And again, I don't want to get into debates about that. Look into preterism and just even the possibility that the things spoken of in scripture regarding the 7-year tribulation may have happened shortly, like in 7 AD, and so, or 70 AD, sorry, in 70 AD. And so, anyway, back to this. All of these things are being propagated to get you into a frenzy, to get you into an emotional, um, uh, confused state, I guess is the best way to put it. But we know that God isn't the author of confusion, and those that really are willing to see truth in all of these lies, no matter the cost, even being called batshit crazy conspiracy theorist, you can see things, and many other people are seeing these things encoded. And so, here, we'll just
The
finish
exact
real quick.
numbers of Trump's assassination. And also, this guy is from Seattle, Washington. Unreal, the coincidences. Anyway, folks, like I said, I proved to you guys again that all these people you see within the truth, all these viral videos within the truth movement are all frauds.
That's what I'm seeing
Anyway,
more and more.
end of video.
That's what I'm seeing more and more, family. And so, all right. We'll close that one down. And yeah. Let's see something there. Thank you. A viewer messaged saying that lost me on YouTube. And so before I jump over here to the deep fake holographic images, I want to look
Hey, what's up, guys? So I just kind of wanted to take a couple minutes, get everybody caught up to speed on what's going on.
So no, we're not going to watch that. So we'll just shut that down real quick. And so before we get into the digital holographic fakes, All right, we're back up, family. Please, somebody let me know where you lost me at. I don't know when I cut out, because my camera stays up until, I mean, last time it was a few minutes past. I had stayed talking for a few minutes. It didn't show that I had cut out right away, and so these actors, these shills, holographic, the holographic Pope. And so we do have some deep state holographic images, but I just wanted to show one more possible shill deep state actor. Again, I've talked about Dr. Judy Mikovits. If you want to go down that rabbit hole, check that out. You'll probably find some images that show that she's been pictured in, I believe, more than one of these PSYOP mass shootings. And so, again, we'll just jump through this one here real quick. Hopefully we can get through this show without losing connection again.
Under what grounds? I just told you. You can close it. I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. Don't need to talk to me weird. I'm just a mom of my kids.
Then things come to a head.
You have 5 seconds. Arrest me. Do it. Record it.
Okay, this is not. Officer, you don't want to do that.
As the mom is led away, others protest.
He is arresting her for being on a public playground.
In a statement, cops say mom of 2, Sarah Brady, was charged with trespassing after failing to adhere to the rules in these very trying times.
Are we up? It's black again? All right, so my wife is telling me that Huh? All right, we're back on. My wife was yelling to me that the screen was black. We're back on. They keep messing with me, guys. They're messing with my screen share, all of my stuff, man. See, this is the kind of stuff that tells me that I'm hitting on something, man. When things like this happen during the live, this has happened a lot when I've talked about metaphysical aspects of our sovereignty and the power and authority that we have. You're a powerful being, and the powers that are in control right now, the powers and principalities, the rulers of this dark age, don't want you to know how powerful you are. I mean, like, again, these things that I say are stranger, truth is stranger than fiction. You don't even know the half of it, family. And so we're seeing an agenda being, a narrative being propagated to cause division. We're having this lockdown happen, and then seeing things being propagated, just like we've seen with like some of the shootings, some of the protests with Trump, where we've seen people getting loaded on buses and moved here, moved there. See, we've had this disclosure happening before our eyes. They've been laying it out before us. And oh, so Chloe didn't lose me. That's crazy. Several people lost me. Chloe didn't get a black screen. That's interesting, because I didn't cut out here either. And so, but my screen share did drop off. And so, but family, they're propagating this narrative to get you emotionally off balance. And I'm telling you again, it happens easily. And emotional setbacks are so hard to recover from, because you have to get back into breathing. That's our first food, right? Our first food is that breath. And so you get your focus gets taken away from that breathing, and that being focused, and finding balance in all of the elements. The fire element that is burning so many people right now, especially people that are passionate. That water element that's just seemingly drowning people out right now, in depression, and in a darkness and in a hopelessness. And so you see that, some people rising, some people just very, very empowered right now. But again, in the spiritual circles, you get a false, just a false light, and a false sense of empowerment in some of these things. And so you have to be aware of the power that you have, but you also have to be aware of what's going on. And what's going on here is across across all fields, all channels, throughout every corner of mass media, social media, and again, even in the truther communities, so much of this lie is being propagated. And so let's jump back over here and see this Sarah Brady, if she's a paid shill. And so they showed her.
Go ahead.
This is what you guys missed.
Arrest me for being a color. Do it. Record it.
Okay, this is not. What is this? Officer, you don't want to do that.
As the mom is led away, others protest.
He is arresting her for being on a public playground.
In a statement, cops say mom of two, Sarah Brady, was charged with trespassing after failing to adhere to the rules in these very trying times.
And again, there was a mother there with a sidearm, open carrying, with her kids playing at the park. Why didn't she get picked up? Why didn't she get questioned?
What's been portrayed in the media.
The family of a woman who has become the face for faith healing in Idaho is speaking out tonight. She says her ailing daughter is being used to push a political agenda.
Let me just pause this real quick, and I'll say this. This is one of the things that I mentioned about Dr. Judy Mikovits is when I started researching, after the pandemic, and I started seeing some videos before the pandemic video was even being widely talked about, and just some things weren't sitting right. She looked very familiar, and so I started doing some research, and so I've got some videos that I was going to mirror of a lot of her research, and I think I might still regarding the virus, but again, there's some deeper things. There's a bloodline war going on right now, family, and there's been a lot of intermingling of bloodlines, and people might get caught in the crossfire of these bloodline wars, and so it's a genetic war, and so biogenetics are being used, biotechnology, bioweaponry. It's just nanotechnology. These things are being used to cull certain bloodlines, and it goes beyond color, skin color. It goes beyond race, and so again, focusing more on the esoteric things, the even true astrology, Eastern astrology versus Western astrology, 12 signs versus 13 signs, and even the numerology behind that. Some things that I was really diving deep into before I started getting caught up in the injustices with this written law. It's really where I'm being led back to, and so we'll really dive deep into a lot of that, and again, how we can spot these things and be aware and not allow our energy to be siphoned away from us, basically have our crown stolen from us, right? That's corona is Latin for crown, and our crown, this virus is coming after our crown. And so we do have to be aware of what's going on. We do have to be aware of the genetic war that's happening, but again, be aware that DNA is being activated, and the very intent of those of us that are here to not only here's the thing, there's, just like we know in scripture teaches, the body all serves different purposes, and we all play different parts and different roles, and some of us are here to tear down and to build up, and I know that that's the role that I'm walking in, and I know that that's why sometimes some of the hard things that I share, and even some of the ways that I can, that again, just being reminded the way that Christ manipulated the ego, right? He wasn't this passive pansy that shied away from conflict. He just wasn't. As much as Christianity and Christians today in the modern church want to paint him that way, he wasn't some freaking hipster with a man bun that was sipping on some coffee and turned around at the first sight of conflict, or was a yes man to the religious leaders that were whitewashed tombs that were manipulating the people, and not only using them as a form of currency, but they were using them as a form of current. See, a form of energy. They were siphoning them for their energy back then as well. And that's what's going on. I've talked about that in videos. My time serving in the church, and the way that the energy, the essence, that essence of the Most High, that is you, is being siphoned to continue to propagate the hold that this matrix has on. It's basically an overlay, a shell on the true reality of what we are and what this place is. That's why this thing, all former things will pass away, and there will be all new things. Everything will be made new. A new heaven and a new earth will be made one. And so we're at that time now of revelation where this is happening, family. And so we just have to be aware in our times of building up and tearing down. Remember, Christ kicked people in the ass, man. He fashioned a whip out of cords, and he went in the temple and he flipped tables over, and he whipped excuse my language, he whipped fools in the back. You know what I'm saying? He kicked them in the ass all the way out of the temple. I can't even, I sometimes in my times of meditation in the prayer closet, whatever you want to call it, whatever your belief system is, when I'm connecting with source and being filled with that spirit, being filled with that energy of source, the knowledge and the wisdom, I can envision the fire in his eyes, right? That fire element coming out of Christ, just rising up, strengthened, prepared for that very moment, being aware as well that he was patient. He took the time to sit down and fashion that cord of whips, that whip of cords. And I'm sure he thought about it with every braid that he put in that, making sure we're all good, family. Every braid that he put in that strand, he probably thought about each one in there, each one that he was going to use that whip on. Who was he going to give a lashing to for drawing the energy of the people, for burning them? Man, they would take the doves and they would take the good ones, and they'd inspect them for any flaws to see if they were worthy to be sacrificed. And then they would give them one that was that was imperfect, that was not worthy of being sacrificed, and tell them, well, no, this one isn't good. Here, we got a good one, we'll sell you. And then they'd sell them back their own freaking sacrifice that they brought. And it was all an energy siphoning system anyway, because the Most High Creator doesn't thrive off of death. And that sacrificial system was exactly that. It was a siphoning system of death and of blood, and of what we've seen being disclosed right now in the storyline that's being propagated. Again, a lot of truth being disclosed, wrapped up in a deception, with the adrenochrome and the eating of children's flesh. There's talk of video that at some New York City higher up police officer, sergeant or some commanding officer saw off of Anthony Weiner's laptop of Huma Abedini and Hillary Clinton eating the flesh off of a live child, a young girl that they raped and tortured and adrenalized her blood. And so these things that are being told were happening back then, right? This is where we get the myths of vampirism and whatnot. Again, it comes back to the bloodlines, to genetics. And so these things have been happening for a long time, and they're being disclosed now, being revealed now, but all of those things are going away. And so we got far off with that, man. Sorry, family. I know I talk a lot, but it is finished. We won, and we're waking. People are waking up to the truth of how these things work. And so the energy siphoning that is happening is being cut off. People are using their sovereignty and their power to combat these things by not falling into those lower, such dense, heavy energies of anger and rage and hopelessness and depression. And people are seeing that light, right? Like the joy that comes in the morning, right? Weeping might endure for the night, but joy comes in the morning, and a new dawn is right before us, family. And so let's continue on with the shillery here, and see what's going on with this Sarah Brady, and understand that all of these things, it's all mind manipulation. It's all theatrics, family.
New at 6 tonight, an exclusive interview with the mother of a disabled Idaho woman who said her parents should be prosecuted for denying her medical treatment as a child. Mariah Walton has become the poster person for a bill that would bring change to Idaho's faith healing laws. But now her family is speaking out, saying they weren't faith healers at all. Our Shannon Camp sat down with Mariah's family and joins us now with the story.
Well, Mark, you just heard from Mariah's sister, Sarah. I was first contacted by Sarah last week. She told me she was conflicted about telling her story publicly for fear of damaging her relationship with her ailing sister. But today, both Sarah and her mother, Andra, say it's important for Idahoans to know that the truth is that they were not faith healers, so that they can make an informed decision about a bill that affects children across the state.
If I had had a surgery when I was 1 year old, I would have been just fine.
Mariah Walton's story has tugged at the heartstrings of people across the world.
For Mariah Walton, just breathing is
the Idaho girl who says her parents refused to take her to a doctor because they believed in healing through prayer.
They used to pray over me, say, because, God's going to heal you, like just have faith and all kinds of stuff.
Under Idaho law, parents are protected.
Okay, so I just want to say that there is, I don't even like to use the word prayer, because I know the whole semantics and etymology behind, praying and prayer, and I don't even want to go into that. But there, I believe in faith healing, and not in the way that it's being used to, again, siphon people of their money and of their faith and of their energy, but in the way that Christ did it, and in the way that Christ spoke of, that we would do greater works than he. And here, let's just go ahead and keep playing. So I just see how they're right. They're just totally disregarding and even discrediting and demeaning faith healing right there. And so I believe that we are healed by faith. By your faith, you're made well, right?
from prosecution if they refuse medical care because of their faith. And Mariah is now a spokesperson for a bill that would change the law if a child is in imminent risk of physical harm or death.
And I think it's time to prosecute them.
But there's just one problem.
I am not using faith healing as a protection for myself.
Mariah's mother says she is not a faith healer. While she does believe in the power of prayer, her approach to Mariah's health struggle was rooted in natural remedies.
We used herbs and essential oils besides praying for her.
For years.
And so again, discrediting herbs, essential oils, I think all of the natural elements, there's healing. That is what we've been given to use as natural medicine. The elements of the earth, that which we came from, right? We are all of these elements. From the earth we came, and from the earth we shall return. And so it makes sense that the earth elements is what we use to heal. Herbs, crystals, oils. I really do believe that, especially the science behind what essential oils can do when you rub it on a sensitive area of nerve endings like your belly button. It absorbs in and just it acts as a medicine, and it's just amazing, family. And so to see this discrediting of this, again, this is a video that I didn't watch all the way through. It was interesting that I was researching shills and deep state actors, and the very people that were going viral again. This dude, I just had that feeling as soon as I posted the video that he got fired. I was like, something ain't sitting right with me, man. Mikovits, something wasn't sitting right with me, with her. And so, we'll just keep playing.
Years, Andra says, no one knew how sick Mariah really was.
Natural
she
healing
believed her
is
daughter's
the
occasional
best.
shortness of breath was a result of asthma.
We took her to chiropractors and naturopaths, and of course it didn't work. It wasn't addressing the actual foundational problem.
You know, she was a normal kid. Her sickness was never
So again, it's
interfering
all
with her everyday
propagated through
routine.
the media.
Sarah is one of Mariah's 8 older siblings.
It makes it look like a big bunch of people turned a blind eye to a very sick child. And it's not the truth.
Sarah said Mariah's health took a turn for the worse 2 years ago.
I think this person is onto something. Looks to me like they are participating in propaganda to enact change for more government interference with parenting, not only in the medical realm, but just all in the religious sector as well.
Complications from a blood transfusion.
And I know that religions were used to control, and so I just want to make that point. There's a lot of truth. Here's the thing, that's part of that universal law, that cosmic law, is that there has to be an option. In our free will, we have to be given the truth and the lie. And so where do you hide the truth? You hide the truth in the biggest lie that nobody would ever even think to look for the truth in. And so understand what's going on here. It's not just in when I say in the religious sector, family, I'm about freedom, and that's to teach your kids. I think that there's a lot of great things, beautiful things that are taught in many of the various ancient belief systems. And there's ugliness in all of them, because they've all been manipulated. And I've seen the ugliness in Christianity, especially the manipulation of the Old Testament scriptures. And we're told right there in scripture in Jeremiah 8:8 regarding the lying pens of the scribes. And so we know that that these scriptures were manipulated by those that were looking to siphon the energy and life force and suck the currency, energy, and money out of the people. And so back to the video.
Fusion landed her on life support.
You know, this came as a shock to all of us.
Even Andra admits, had she known how sick Mariah really was, she would have taken her to see a doctor.
And if I would have known that, we would have taken Mariah and gotten her surgery early on.
Both Sarah and Andra say they fear that Mariah's story is being used to promote a bill that doesn't apply in her case.
She is not the poster person for the Idaho faith healing bill. My kids can't put words in my mouth. My kids can't say, oh, Mom, you prayed for her, so it applies. It does not apply.
And they both hope that soon they can get back to supporting Mariah as she faces this long road ahead.
And I would like to tell Mariah, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. If I could just take you in my arms and hug you and tell you that I love you, and I wish that I could just make this all go away, I would do whatever I could. But I can't change it. You know, I love Mariah. I would do anything for her.
Wow. Yeah. Where are the tears? And this one, we don't have to watch this entire protest, but
doing campaign videos, but today I'm upset because we want to share a story.
It's about religion and politics, and this is the one thing that I've been saying for a while. Families, man has taken and put the God of this world on the throne of God, and that throne of God, the seat of source, is on the heart and the mind. The brain heart coherency, and that connection, the neural connection. And God uses the neural network to enlighten us, family. And it's been under attack, not just through fluoride and other chemicals. I mean, tons of different chemicals, some aerosol in vaccines, mercury, so many different things. Again, the various chemicals that are in chemtrails. It's basically, you know, that instead of bringing the people to the showers, they brought the showers to the skies, and they're dropping all this gas on people. And so it's chemical warfare against the American people. And again, religion and politics, the big G and little g, big God, little God, they're always playing against each other, right? Just like Satan and God, and it's just a tale that's been told for millennia to control the minds of men. And so we got to break free from that and understand that source is in us. And you'll see, again, family, throughout this whole pandemic, everything that's being staged, it's religion and politics. It's that dividing sword. It's to divide the mind and to divide the people, because a house divided cannot stand.
Story to you today that happened at this school, Stick Elementary School here in Boise, Idaho. And this is Misty from Health Freedom, Idaho. This is Sarah Walton Brady from Health Freedom, Idaho. And she tried to enroll her 5-year-old child in school, just like anybody would. But we want to find out what happened. We want to tell all of Idaho what happened, because what happened was not right. So, Sarah, can you explain what happened to when you try to enroll your 5-year-old
You're
child
spot on, Laura.
in school?
Sure. So in the state of Idaho, if your child is only partially vaccinated or completely, partially unvaccinated or partially or completely unvaccinated, you are able to, by law,
this must have been early on in her acting career, because you can kind of.
Vaccines based
She's
on
a bad actress.
or other grounds.
This video
and
is
that's
not
exactly
her best
what I
work.
did. I made a parent signed statement and I submitted to the principal, and he was denied. I was told that I had to fill out a form. I was told I could not cross out anything on it, even though I disagreed with what I was signing to. And there was no place on the form, because they said it had to be on the form. There was no place on the form provided to me to actually make a parent signed statement. And so I was told by the principal, and then later received a denial letter saying my son, who's 5-year-old, very first day of kindergarten, was not allowed to attend my school in my school district here in West Ada, his very first day of school. And so I have been trying to petition people in authority to at least look at the case and see that I followed the law. It's Idaho Code 39-4802. It's very clear in there what I needed to do, and I followed to a T. And my question is if I follow the law, Why doesn't the school have to follow the law?
Now, Sarah or Misty, could you guys explain for people, because not everyone understands,
if this
what does the
wasn't a
law
freaking
specifically say,
totally
and then how is
staged
the law broken here at the
interview
school?
and
Well, it says that a parent can opt
talk
out
about reading
of
from the
vaccines
script?
for any reason at any time with just a signed statement.
Yes.
That's what the statute says. A
This is
signed
like
statement.
high school
And it
theatrics,
says
family.
it's a signed statement to
Holy
school
shit.
officials stating your objections on
Lousy
religious or
acting,
other grounds or
crap.
something along those lines. And so I did exactly that.
My
And I
goodness.
was told, no, that is not good enough. You will sign this form or your child will not be allowed here.
And the schools stand on the IDAPA form. So tell them what the IDAPA rule, says about the form.
So IDAPA,
This is like
IDAPA
Saturday Night Live grade.
16.02.15 says in there that the
D-list
statement will actually
acting.
be on a form provided by the department, which includes the child's name and birth date, and then the parent signed statement. Well, the problem when they produce this form to me, and again, I have no problem with signing a statement on a form. Believe me, I signed many, many forms when I enrolled my child here at school. So this is not just about a form. This is about me being forced to sign a statement that A, did not originate for me, and I did not agree with. And so, and it was not required by law for me to agree with in order for my child to attend.
Getting people fired up, right? I'm going to pause that and blow that up and see if we can't read that, family. Ooh. Let me see. Let me double click, blow that up, see if we can read what that says. Brady, who is married to Boise Police Detective Tim Brady, who was released from the county jail Tuesday evening just in time to attend a massive protest organized by the Idaho Freedom Foundation outside of the Meridian City Hall. Some 100 people showed up carrying homemade signs demanding freedom. In the news quite a bit, huh? In that video, early on in the video, you see him, the picture of him with his comrades in front of the obelisk. And yeah, we know what that represents. So. And I agree with that. The Holy Spirit, the Spirit of Gnosis. Say it's Sophia. And it's funny because with some of the I don't know if I should pull this up and talk about this because we're already a couple of hours in. And so maybe we'll talk about the tie between Venus, Lucifer, and Baphomet and Sophia, and wisdom, gnosis, the light bearer, the spirit of truth who comes to declare all things, whom proceeds from the Father to declare all things. A lot of these things, remember, family, what it says in Scripture. We have to have discernment. And what does it say? In these last days, evil would be called good and good would be called evil. That which is good would be called evil. And so many things that have been inverted. Again, the whole Sophia being inverted to Baphomet and Venus being inverted to Lucifer, it's just one of those things that we have to consider, family, that was the truth taken and twisted and demonized, and again causing a division of the mind, a division of the heart, getting man to call that which is in man and women. I don't want to seem sexist, but mankind, humankind, to call that which we are a part of, to desire to kill that off, to slay the demon right? And so these daemons that are within are that which keeps us from the truth, from the wisdom and the knowledge, the gnosis of the true light, of the only one source of all things. And so again, we have these different archetypes, and we see the various ways that they've all been manipulated and skewed and even convoluted to cause confusion. But we haven't been given a spirit of confusion, but of strength and of a sound mind. And so, family, if we have discernment and we use the discernment of the Holy Spirit, we can discern through all of these things, family, and we don't got to fall victim to these paid shills and these actors that are literally trying to, their whole aim is to get you fired up, to get you emotional, to get you emotionally imbalanced. Shut that down. We don't even got to be up in there. Let me see what we had up here. That was that video. Thank you, Lacey. Again, viewer Lacey letting us know that we had lost us again, that we lost the feed again. And so this was the original video. It's like a 20-minute video. Let me see. 18, 21, 22 minutes. And so if you after rewatching the whole thing, you can definitely see how it was all staged and set up, and the camera angles were right. All of the people screaming and yelling for her justice, and it's all to propagate a civil war, family. It's all to put the civilians against peace officers. And I want to say peace officers, they're taking a piece of something, law enforcement officers. And so a majority of them are tied deeply into this brotherhood, and they are bootlickers, and they are very, very bad people, and can't be trusted. But, I do have faith and believe and hope and affirm that there are good men and good women in these different industries, and so whether it be law enforcement industry or the military industrial complex, I believe that there are good men and women that have discernment of the Most High, that are working on behalf of the Most High in unseen areas. And so, no, I'm not propagating Q theories, because I believe that Q is Mossad, and Q is the biggest psyop right now, even bigger than this pandemic, because it's stringing patriots along. And again, patriots, you do what you think is right regarding standing up for yourself and your family, but be careful about the way that you protest. Man, I had a brother make a good point. The things that are being allowed for you to see are being allowed for a reason. And so when you see armed men standing at the Capitol, in the halls of the Capitol of Michigan, with their faces covered in full military gear, you see all of these people at these protests armed to the hilt, man, just like AARs hanging off of them. I seen one picture of a guy that went to a restaurant, and he had 2 6-shooters on each hip, or a 6-shooter on each hip, two sidearms, and a cannon. He had an anti-tank artillery hanging off of his back. And so it's just ridiculous. And this is what the enemy wants. The spiritual forces that are trying to manipulate this realm, this reality, and the minds of men have no power other than that. Their lying deceitfulness. That's the only power they have. They were liars from the beginning, right? He was a liar from the beginning. And so that's the only power that these powers and principalities have. they can't come against us, family. And so they want us what? To rise up against each other. And so we have to be aware, family, and be aware as well of what we're putting in our bodies, because again, who's forcing who to do what? Medically, it's not right. Should have been off of this stupid thing. And so everything we're seeing is staged, family. You see all of this Q stuff about the elites are that the pedophilia rings are being busted, and the elites are that they're sealed indictments, and the elites are being held accountable. And you know what, family? I think at some levels that there might be some truth to that, but again, I think that it's a power struggle between the Luciferians and the Satanists, or Setians, and so we will look at some deep state deep fakes, deep digital holographic fakes. And I've been talking about this. Many people have been talking about CGI, AI, and holographic fakes for a while. I've been talking about doing the show regarding the technology, the holographic technology that we have nowadays. Scientists have holographic technology that you can touch, that you can feel, that you can smell, that you can taste, that you can hear, obviously. And so they can fool all of your senses. And so we have to be aware. Again, do some research on Project Bluebeam, and you might find some other Easter eggs or whatever you want to call them, gems in there to research. And so let's look at some of these deep fake holographs. Let me see, where is the Pope?
On April 13th, Twitter user @BernieEonThebus posted a video from WWMT, a CBS CW station in Kalamazoo, Michigan, of Pope Francis in the window above St. Peter's Square, waving to what should be no one, and then turning and walking back in, except, before he disappeared by walking out of camera range, the image of the Pope vanishes abruptly. @BernieEonThebus says he thinks it's proof what was broadcast was a holographic image of the Pope. Take a look.
Interesting. What do you guys think about that? There's a lot of talk about the fact that he might be underground in a bunker, that he might be at Gitmo under one of those sealed indictments. But one thing's for sure, that definitely looked like CGI holographic imagery. And so we can get a little deeper into this and look at, we'll close that out, and we'll look at Tom Hanks. Again, I don't know anything about this channel, Rose Hannah. I came across this video again when I was researching deep fakes, deep state actors, things like that. And so I don't know much about her channel, but we are going to look at this breakdown she did about Tom Hanks. And we won't watch the whole 30 minutes, but we're going to watch some of this breakdown regarding some of this CGI imagery and the way that a lot of things. We got to be careful about what we're buying into, family. And I take that for myself. Again, these are things that God has been showing me, that we're propagating this fear when there is no reason for fear. There is no reason for fear. We weren't given a spirit of fear, but of strength and of sound mind. And perfect love casts out fear. And family, we're being perfected. How? Through this valley that we're going through. And when we go through these times where we feel shaken and where we feel any kind of anxiety or any kind of fear or doubt or hopelessness, anything like that, man, any of these traumas will drive you to an awakening, will drive you to find yourself, to go within and find God seated on the throne in the kingdom. Luke 17, Christ said that the kingdom is within you and it's without you. And so it's without you because it's being projected from what's within. Where a man's treasure is, there his heart will be, or where a man's heart is, there his treasure will be. From the abundance of the mouth, the heart, from the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. Where's your heart at? What are you speaking? Are you speaking life or death? And oftentimes, I know, family, if you've been dealing with these difficult truths and all of the rabbit holes and all of the different narratives and all of the different types of disclosure and all of the disinformation that it's wrapped in, man, you can feel really, really down and weighted down, just so dense and under pressure when you start dealing with these kind of things, because it does propagate that type of energy space. And then where are you to hold the space for your fellow man, for your brother, for your sister? How are we to hold space when we're being pressed down by the weight of these things that, again, we allow in? It's subconscious neurological programming. And so when you're feeding this energy, when you're consuming this energy and feeding it constantly, it's something that my wife reminds me of. And at times I'm like, I got to do this. And I know I'm being sensitive to the spirit, and I have to disclose a lot of these things. But you know what? There's a time where it's got to be, that's it, family. That's it. What does it even say in scripture? Don't be casting your pearl before swine. And you can't continue to cast your pearls before swine. And so many people, this is one of the things that will weight you down. And I know one of my sisters, Jeannie, deals with this a lot. I see her feed on Facebook, or on my timeline anyway, on my news feed. I see, not my timeline, but on my news feed, I see some of the things that, and she's a dear sister that's helped out with, she sent me some RSO when I was in the process of overcoming cancer. And so I'm very thankful, for her. And but I see the attacks, and even commenting on one of her posts, I felt like I was attacked, and I'm sure her friends didn't mean that, but we have to be careful about being caught in that trap of feeling like we have to wake people up, because you know what, family, the ones that are being affected by this everything that's going on, the traumatizing events of this world right now, of this time, they're the ones that are being pushed to be awakened via the trauma, via the events, the difficult times. It's going to snap them awake, family. And what our jobs are is really to just be and to hold space. And to, again, if you're part of the body that is a mouthpiece to continue to make people aware of these things, then when you come across things like this, like I'm sharing these videos of this cop, and here I am sharing these videos of this Paige Shield, man, doing the work of the ones that are building this illusion, right? But we're here to break the matrix, family. We're here to break the sight to decipher and to break the code that's been overlaid our reality, giving us this illusion, and to rewrite the code, family. And that code is in our DNA. That code is truth, the spirit of truth, the Holy Spirit, whom proceeds from the Father to declare all things to us. It's that Christic energy, the Christos, the anointing that's in us, family. And again, I seen somebody mention in the chat the pineal gland. And again, we're going to talk a lot about the pineal I've already done shows on the pineal gland, but we'll do more on the pituitary gland and their work together. One is the honey, one is the milk, that land of milk and honey. And the claustrum is what brings them down to the coccyx, where they sit. And then they come up the shushma, that center nerve, straight up to the pineal gland, up to the medulla, up to the inner chamber of that Ark of the Covenant. Your skull is the Holy Grail, family. Drink of it. Eat of the manna that falls down the back of your throat when you go into a Kachari Mudra meditation. And again, there will be videos to go into that. But let's look at this digital holographic fake of Tom Hanks. And we're only going to go a few minutes into this because I'm going to wrap it up here soon, family.
The Tom Hanks on the right is a real image. This was from 3 months ago. And then look at the image from SNL on Saturday night. It's so ridiculous. It's a joke. Just look at the difference. This is what a real face looks like. It still picks up the definition. It doesn't mat out the face. It doesn't look semi-transparent. It doesn't have strange, even color of the skin.
Ladies and gentlemen. Tom Hanks.
Hey. Oh, whoa, thank you.
Tom Hanks.
Laura says it's like so many people. Laura says it's like so many people are under black magic or a curse to keep them blind, and it is. This is the black magic, Laura. This is what I'm exposing right here. The sorcery that keeps people blind.
Sound effect.
Digital Tom, where'd you go? Why are you passing yourself off as you when it's not you?
Theodora, I haven't seen that
You can
one
see
yet.
the digital bleed right there. Look at his fingers are like wavy around the edges. Digital. Look at those digital choppy lines
Oversee.
right here.
You understand to oversee. Theodora says, rule, don't judge. All is staged. I'm going to have to put that up because we might have to go through the comments just for that one, because that's what this whole show is about right now. We have to judge ourselves, judge through discernment the things that we're taking in and how we're transmuting the energies, the influxes of energies that are coming in. Are we allowing them to be inverted and used against us to cause this illusion of fall on us that we would then project outwardly, as within, so without, the illusion of the script that they're writing? Are we going to use discernment and be aware of what we're feeding and what we're feeding off of? Because family, again, having experienced this recently, You know, I bring these warnings, family, because I go through them, and my family sees me go through them. My family sees me go through these times of how can you get spiritually distracted? How can you get distracted when you're constantly every day focusing on the spiritual and looking for the spiritual meanings behind all of these things, right? Because again, it's a subconscious neurological programming. And so you have to be very aware, and you have to limit your time. I'm definitely going to be limiting my time on a lot of this BS. And I'm definitely going to be talking more about Kundalini, Kunda Buffer. We're going to talk not only about the inverted aspects of the Talmud and Kabbalah, and the Klipoth, but we're going to talk about the actual true meanings of the original esoteric meanings of the Kabbalah and the Klipoth, and those things that are written of in the Talmud. Because again, all of these religious writings and scriptures and different beliefs have been tainted and manipulated. And so that's really what we're going to be focusing on this channel moving forward, and on Facebook as well, is the power that we have, not the disempowering things. And so as within, so without, we're going to change this projection, family. And it's by becoming aware of these things, we can see past these things. And once we understand them, then we can oversee them.
Does that look like a real person to you? Kind of looks a little transparent. Okay, let's look closer at his head.
Hi, baby.
Look at the wavy lines around his head. Pathetic. Shame on you for letting your image be used like this, deceiver. Where'd they go? I haven't seen a real person in days on the TV. There you go. That's digital.
And so watch for these things, family. If you're a TV watcher, I don't watch a lot of television, tell a lie to your vision. I don't watch a lot of it, but if you are, watch for these things.
Look around his head. Do you see the spiky things right there? Right there. That's not real. Right there, look. It's ridiculous. This is a real brother. Okay, I just wanted to.
But it just hit me real hard yesterday. A volcano is going to go off somewhere in the world, like, you know. Like I say, I didn't know how to approach it. I didn't even know how to share it. Well, it was like,
okay, go subscribe.
So I don't know.
And I'm going to show you none of that weirdo stuff comes out. The telltale stuff is there's absolutely.
I don't know. There's a lot of video
trying to do this halo, and then the edge of it is
she's doing here. She's trying
are
to
not
make
jagged
a point
like they were.
The picture, even of a low quality.
So yeah,
video.
There's some major funny business going on. It's ridiculous that they're even
compared
trying to do this
high
to people.
Quality HD.
Pathetic.
Probably Ultra 4K.
Okay, now look how artificial.
Thank you, engineers. Hey, all you cool cats and kittens. Thank you, engineers. Hey, all you cool cats and kittens.
Remember what I said about the cats?
AI, maybe? Is AI orchestrating some of this? I mean, we've got quantum computers.
Don't
so,
don't worry
and
now.
do
Don't
have
be afraid. The
artificial
shaved head was just for a
intelligence.
movie, and my hair is growing back very slowly.
Do you see the background, the color kind of waving and stuff? There it is. Look right here. There's no reason for that to happen unless it's digital. If it's digital, there is a reason for that to happen. Oh, here we go. Look right here and look what it does to the glass. Very good fake, but the problem still can be spotted. Okay, you see that?
Yeah, so see, this young lady goes in depth to break down the video quality and the fact that this is CGI.
Also, he looks a little too matte to be real.
Fake CGI. Going to bed?
Yep. Skin's a little bit too smoothed and too matte. And he almost looks a little, in my opinion, he looks a little transparent. Okay, now look here. This side is the telltale, right? This hard area is hard to see anything. All right.
Love you.
Tom's image. Let's see what's going on here with your suit. Okay, I'll play the segment for you.
Cue cards, see? I am even using cue cards. Just riff, baby. That's what I'm doing. So.
It's pretty good. It still looks fake to me. I want to see what's going on with his suit because I know suits have a hard time. The edges of suits have a hard time with this image for some reason.
Blown all the way up.
Okay, you see it's so hard to see. That's how good it is, but you can still spot it if you're looking. I really feel sorry for the people with just trusting eyes that have no idea what these evil ones are up to. Okay, there, you can see the halo kind of. Do you see that? Do you see the mirage effect when I pull back? It has problems contrasting with backgrounds. Okay, look at how gets hairy. His suit grows hairs. It's not able to blend the two backgrounds.
There we go.
That well. Have you guys ever seen Photoshop?
Mm-hmm.
It's the same kind of idea.
And see how
when you blend two backgrounds into Photoshop, light still will bleed through from the other
just like
photo.
That.
So you'll get no matter how good at Photoshop you are. Oh, and then here you can see the halo right here. This one's a pretty good one compared to the other ones I've seen.
Wow,
which are kind of
Theodora
ridiculous.
says she worked on this 16 years
but
ago.
yes, okay, look right here and see how it bounces and pops. The background pops a little bit. This is not a real image. This is a live projection, digital projection of Tom Hanks. This is not.
So she does Tom Hanks. And I think she does a couple of other comparisons.
Try to stretch a couple of times a week and go easy.
That's really not funny. Did you become fake and fake funny too?
Easy on the carbs and the cookies. Thank you, though. Anybody else?
Or funny. Okay, watch his hands. Jaggedy.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. You can definitely tell right there. And again, how jumpy and choppy it is.
This is good. Still caught it though. Wow. Pay attention to here, 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 here. Okay.
Oh, very good fake, but you can see it right there. Mm-hmm. Yep.
If there's interference between the two, between the shirt, like it literally changes the shirt. Do you see that right there? Here. Okay, watch the shirt.
Exactly, right here.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's good. It's just not perfect.
So I don't know, family. I don't really feel like we need to keep. I mean, we can. I'll drop the link in case you guys want to finish watching. I don't think we need to watch another 15 minutes of it. I think she's made a very good point. Oh, she does some more people here. See, I didn't pre-screen any of these videos. Again, these are just things that had come up right before when I had set this show up. Again, right after I'd been doing a lot of research all the way from Shiva and Mikovits when they first started coming out and talking out, speaking out about this pandemic. And so I had found some of these things, but I hadn't watched them. Maybe like 2 minutes of each one. But I really wanted to wait until the show and watch them with you guys. And so this is really interesting that she does some other people here.
It's SNL. There'll be some good stuff, maybe one or two stinkers. You know the drill.
No, it hasn't been funny for a long time. My wife and I
But let's
talked
go.
about that.
But let's
SNL
go.
hasn't been
Hey,
funny for
stay safe.
Years and years.
We are in this for the duration, and we will get through this together.
Yes, Laura, even the background does look fake.
This was Jake Tapper and Dr. Fauci today. These are really good and really hard to tell. The few things I wanted to point out is he has that same transparent look. It looks computerized.
Very
Just look at it.
computerized.
I'm not going to spend too long on it. But
it does look very computerized.
See, okay. Same telltale things when they move their head. It
This is
interferes
good,
with
family.
I think they're projecting backgrounds too, because the two light projections don't mesh and they interfere with each other. That's just my hypothesis. Okay, do you see that? There's his halo smushing the other.
Mm-hmm. All of that. Wow.
Look right here. Okay, see it bending the light? His halo.
I don't know what's going on, family. I guess that means it's almost time to just cut out. Are we back? Are we back on? You guys got a picture? I don't have a picture yet. Hopefully we're back on. And so I'll leave a link. You guys can watch the rest of that. It looks like she breaks down a few different other people. And so, family, we have to understand what's going on here. There's a huge agenda of distraction going on. All right, it looks like we're back. And so there's a huge agenda of deception going on. And we have to be careful about not just what we're, taking and running with, but what we're sharing, what we're propagating. What are we sharing, and what energy are we plugging into? Because we are energy, right? And so what currency are we giving ourselves to? Are we powering? And we have to be aware of these things. Even these deep state videos, these deep fake deep state videos. There's a million and one reasons why these people could be disappearing or going underground, going to these deep underground military bases. A lot of different theories, again, as to whether they're doing that or whether they are escaping to some elite island like Epstein's Island or one of the elite cities that's there's I believe a Freemason city, a Masonic city in somewhere in Dubai, maybe, or shoot, I'm not really quite sure. Somewhere over there in the Middle East, I think. And then there's multiple ghost cities in China that there are some theories that that's where some of these Kabbalists that have been manipulating the masses are dipping out to, because there is a great awakening and people are going to realize what's happening. People are going to wake up to the truth of the way that their minds have been played with. And so, yeah, I believe that a lot of people think that they're Xanadu, 3 architects, 1 planner. I'll look into that. Theodora telling you help. Xanadu. Not. Really having some connection issues. And so one of the things that they're distracting us from is this genetic war that we're facing. And one of the things you have to be aware of with the force testing, things like that, is these narratives that are being pushed aren't necessarily again, there's not 100% truth in these things. I think that there's lies. There's a song that I like, and I can't even remember the name of it, but he says that there's lies in the facets of everything we see. And I really do believe that there's lies in just about everything has been covered, tainted, or attempted to be manipulated with lies. And so we really have to be aware of anything that we're looking at and taking part in. And one of the things that I think is being disclosed here, and let me come back because I didn't put my screen share on. That dropped out again. Looks like we're running really slow and lagging as well. So hopefully we can get through this real quick. And so the CDC's failed coronavirus tests were tainted with coronavirus. The feds confirm this. Okay, so this is part of that disclosure. But again, there's a reason why there's the tainted tests. And this brother here really nails it. Let me just close that because it's going to keep loading and keep slowing me down here. Okay, so that's not the post. Let me see. And if you really want to find some of the deeper truths as to what's going on, as far as the deeper agendas, the truths behind a lot of these hidden agendas, Albert Freud is a good source to really consider a lot of what's said, because there are some very interesting things here to just take into that time of solitude and consider. Let me see. Especially about the Dracos and bloodlines. Very, very interesting work. And this is the one right here, I think. Oh. Right here. Wisconsin governor announces free coronavirus testing for Africans, Americans, and Latinos, trying to call a specific bloodline. And oh man, I'm not finding the article I was looking for, but this is definitely here. I'm gonna find a link to this. I'm gonna share it here. That way you can pause it, print it, download it, whatever you can do, screen capture it. This is from my brother Matt Wyatt's post. In fact, I'll post some screenshots of this up as well. Print it out and learn it. And so this is all about the attempts to force or coerce vaccinations on people and how it constitutes a crime against humanity. And so again, all of the things that are going on, we have the power through knowledge. If we know what we are empowered with and to do what to do in those times. And so I'll post a link to this actual post right here because it looks like there's some great information in the comment section. And so I'll post that on YouTube and on the video on Facebook. I'm not finding the post I was looking for, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time looking for it. This is a very interesting post, though. And so, yeah, we'll come back to this in another show. I wanted to show he had posted regarding the tests that the virus is the test. That the test is the virus. And so maybe tomorrow we'll jump into this House resolution and some other things that are going on with some things I've seen with the Polis Trump meeting today, and just kind of try and help navigate through some of the steps that might need to be taken in order to avoid some of the things that are happening, because these things that are being propagated are actually manifesting outwardly, because people are being neurologically programmed and metaphysically, collectively projecting what's being what's happening inside, everything that's being done inside, every trauma, every program, every lie, every confusion. It's all being brought to the surface right now, and it's being revealed. And so we have to really dig deep, look within, and search ourselves to find out our part. First and foremost, how to connect with the Most High. Come over here. And actually, before I wrap up, because there are, let me see, maybe this is the one. No, this isn't. This is about nanotechnology and the quarantine and what it has to do coinciding with Passover. They're talking about global mass arrests and the way that this virus may have been manipulated and created to attack a specific bloodline. And that's one of the things that I was looking for in that other post regarding the tests having a specific virus on them, created virus. And so we're all right, family. And so this actually should have been thrown in there. I don't know where we cut out. Gone again, gone again. Thank you, Lacey, for letting me know that. Viewers are awesome. Always jumping in and letting us know. But so I'll jump on this and then jump back to that whole thing as we wrap up, because that's going to be leading into the show for tomorrow. The bloodlines and the attempted calling of specific tribes and bloodlines. And so Jamie Lee posted, commenting on police speaking out, "I'm a Freemason and I can say for sure he is a shill. We've been discussing this tactic in the lodge for months. First, we oppress the people with unconstitutional orders. Then we have officers planted all over the country who will stand up for the oath they took to defend the Constitution. You see, first we get the police officers to trample on the Constitution, and then we get them to defend it, so that by the end, the public doesn't know their own ass from a hole in the ground. This guy is a textbook show by our own design, and our plan is working perfectly. As we can see from all of the truther channels, quote unquote, out there, and the posts in this comment section, the public clearly does not know its own ass from a hole in the ground. Checkmate. 33. Go figure. What will really blow your mind is the number of shill commenters we had to place throughout the YouTube community to point out that he is indeed one of our own. Now the truth community will never know which channels are real or planted, which videos are real or planted, or which commenters are real or planted. Question everything. And family, I'm here to tell you that we are able to tell the real from the fake. It says that the deception would be so great that even the elect would be deceived if it were possible. And it's not possible, family. We can see through this bullshit. If we really dig and we really look for the truth, we can see right through it. And so keep your eyes open. And again, we're tomorrow. I guess I'll call it, we'll either do it tomorrow or Friday. Maybe we'll do it on Friday. We're going to dig deep about the nanotechnology that is looking to be used, that's being pushed, that there's a push to be used. And this storyline here is a new one that I haven't heard of yet, but it kind of sounds a little bit Q-ish. And so I really got to question it regarding, so it's a Nazi depopulation tool that was created by DARPA, right? China, Iran, and the United States deep state actors. The virus contains MERS, SARS, and encephalitis, but also nanotechnology, which is intelligent and can mutate based on various factors, including the host's biometric changes and environment. The nanotechnology can be programmed to attack a particular host, and therefore the virus was reprogrammed to take out our deep state bad actors based on lower human consciousness. Unfortunately, others may get caught in the cross-contamination, so it's important to be safe. The virus, however, is said to have been sent out like the technological version of the Holy Spirit that wiped out the disobedient Egyptians in the day of Moses. And I've got a lot to say about that and the deceptions in that, and the Hyksos Jews, Akhenaten and Moses, the link between Akhenaten and Moses, and so and even the Anak people, the Anunnaki, mentioned in the Bible as the Anak. And so, unfortunately, others get caught in the cross-contamination, so it's important to be safe. Holy Spirit wiped out so the Israelites were told to stay indoors and mark their front doors with the blood of the Lamb, and no plague would be. And so this might even be manipulation to continue to push people staying inside. But it's interesting. It's very interesting, and some things to consider and talk about. And so we'll go over that tomorrow. And again, talk about, I did have one pulled up, the one that I backed out of from Albert's post regarding bloodlines. This one here. Typo negative. And it said that the typo negative is both a destroyer and a builder. And I believe that that's the blood type that I am. And so that's interesting. And I'll talk about Jeremiah 1 and the way that Source showed me through Scripture the role that I'm to be playing here. And so, family, I hope that y'all haven't fallen into a deep slumber with all of this acting that's been going on. I know that when I get into the theater, sometimes when it's dark and it's been a long day and I'm tired, I've been up early and we haven't been to see a movie for a long time. But I remember being in the theater and having to sit up and take a drink because no matter how good the movie is, dark, theater, comfortable couch, because we have recliners in some of our theaters. And so, especially those ones that you could go to and eat at, man, go to the movie tavern where you can have a bite and you lay back, you're full, and you start to doze off. I hope you haven't been dozing off during this this shit show, man. It's the grand theatrical shit show, the Masonic shit show. And but there's a great there's a many great things being built right now, and many great things happening through all of the traumatic events that are coming about. And so, family, remember that even though there might be a lot of deceptions out there, you have the ability to discern through all of them. And you have the ability to not only discern through all of them, but to navigate through each step of the way as these things are being laid out. And so, family, I just want to wish y'all nothing but wholeness and balance. Remember that in love, that love perfected, you are whole, you're mighty, you're sovereign, and you have the power and ability to see past all of this acting and get to the truth that's within. And that truth is that you're empowered, family. Don't be disempowered by all of the things that are going on, and don't allow these things to get you into a place of emotional setbacks, because those are very hard to bounce back from. They're hard to recover from. And family, I don't wish that on anybody. We need to be in tip-top spiritual shape and discern in all of our discernments, fully aware and discerning in all things, because it'll be very easy to get distracted and to get divided amongst all of these things that are being propagated in the media. It's very easy to be divided. And again, even just sometimes driving down the street, seeing people with their masks on in their cars, enough to make me be like, what the shit, you know what I'm saying? And get me out of my spiritual place. And so we got to be aware of that, hold space for those that have no type of awareness and that are completely lost in this illusion. We've got to be compassionate, family. I've got to be compassionate. I haven't been the most compassionate person. I've been pretty fired up and even taken back and frustrated with the things that I've seen playing out in the media and even social media. And so, family, I'm taking a break from Facebook. If I do a live, it's going to be through StreamYard. But yeah, I gotta break free from checking that daily feed and seeing what's going on there. There are a couple of things that I'm going to continue to check in on with Stardust City Creations and my Walk in Wisdom page. But as far as going on that news feed and seeing a lot of the division and the garbage and the propagated narratives, I'm going to steer clear of that, family. And I'm going to, again, be focusing more on the spiritual aspects of how to be in tune with the Most High to navigate through all of these things. And so, family, we've been going so long, I don't even really want to take a lot of time going through the chat. I will just say a big thank you to everybody that jumped in: Theodora, Lacey, Chloe, Laura, Laura Plattenberg. Let's see who else. Quite a few of you guys jumped in. Jim and KJ, Jacob Shelton, Jeannie Appleweed. Big thank you to all of you. And again, to those of you who have supported in the past and have supported on a consistent and regular basis. Really appreciate it. If any of this resonates, remember to share it. Remember to give it a thumbs up on YouTube and on Facebook. It helps with the algorithms. And drop a comment, family. Leave your input, leave your take on these things. And if there's anything that you'd like me to cover or to research, shoot it to my email. My email is in the description of every video for the past several months. I've been putting the email in there. And so if there's something you need me that you would like me to look into, research, get my take on, see if I've done a ton of research in so many different areas. And so if it's something that I'm already versed in, I'd be more than happy to feature it and do a show on it if it's in line and pertinent with what the creator is showing me to do. And so family, again, just be in that place of love, remain in that place of love, and don't let these things shake you. There's a lot of shaking going on right now, and in that shaking, the things that are to stand are going to stand, and the things that have no use and no value, that only hinder us, are going to be shaken away. And so always be strengthened in knowing that it's finished, it's already done. And even those in the deepest slumber that are caught up in this entire theatrical shit show are going to wake up from it. And this is happening right now. It's going to continue to be more and more evident as we move forward, especially coming into this. I believe that there's a retrograde coming up here on the 13th. And so we're going to talk more about that as well, the celestial energies and astrological events that are on the horizon. And so, family, I wish you nothing but wholeness and balanced vibrations, and encourage you and urge you to stay aware in these times and always be in love, because all things done outside of love, those are those things that are going to be shaken and broken, the things that are going to fall away. Anything that was done outside of love, always have that intent of love in your heart, empathy, compassion, sympathy, forgiveness, and love. And so